What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Diamond is Unbreakable. Yes, we are finally back to JoJo. Man, has it been far too long since I've reviewed JoJo. It's been about 2 weeks since the last time we last saw JoJo. Toonami went on a 2-week break. I think it was like first week it was Super, then after that I believe it was Boruto. They were aired that were marathons. But hey, we're finally back. And yeah, and this episode was fucking amazing, like always. You guys know how much I love JoJo, and oh my god, I love this. This episode's amazing. I actually told one of my friends about how Rohan Kishibe, how Rohan has become one of my favorite JoJo characters, and this episode really helped. Like, oh my god, do I love? Like, I love Rohan so much more now. Like, I loved Rohan when we first got those first couple episodes a few weeks back, but now I've truly fallen in love with Rohan. I love Rohan. This man he's one of my favorite characters of JoJo. And I also told this friend of mine, who's a massive JoJo fan, by the way, that Koichi is one of my favorite characters of all time, because you guys know how much I love Koichi. And yeah, so this was another Koichi focus. It was more of a Rohan focused episode with Koichi just being along for the ride. We also got a first look at Kira. I already love Kira. But anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let us get into this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Diamond is Unbreakable. Let's get into it. So we start this episode off. We got our my boy, my second favorite JoJo character of all time. Jeez, I can't talk today. Koichi. We had another Koichi focused. Now, granted, this was more of a Rohan focused episode. It was more like Rohan. This episode felt more character development for Rohan than it did Koichi. Koichi just happened to be along for the ride. And I swear Araki must love Koichi with how many episodes he's given him. Or I guess Saber Productions as well as Araki have given all to Koichi. Like, I cannot get enough of Koichi. I love him. And I actually told one of my friends, who's a massive JoJo fan, said, like, you know, man, like, it was like late at night, right after the episode finished airing on Toonami. I was like, you know, man, I love Rohan. He's like one of my favorite characters in all of JoJo. And he agreed with me, like, yeah, he fits perfectly with Diamond is Unbreakable. And I hope to God this man makes appearances in future parts of JoJo. Like, hopefully we might get a small cameo in either Part 5 or Part 6. Because I know Part 7 and Part 8 take place in, like, some alternate dimension, apparently. So, yeah. And apparently a lot of people don't like Rohan's English voice. I don't know why. Now, granted, I haven't listened to his Japanese voice personally, but whoever they got voicing him right now is a perfect fit. I love Rohan's English voice. It makes perfect sense for a mangaka. And I like that little accent he has. I don't know what kind of accent it is, but I love that little accent he has to the voice for Rohan. It suits Rohan perfectly. I love his English voice actor. I'll say what his Japanese voice actor sounds like when I do go back and I watch the show, and when I get my screenshots for the thumbnail, I'll be watching the episode stuff while I'm grabbing them, so I'll know what Rohan sounds for Japanese then. Anyway, so Rohan's like, hey, Koichi, he's asking for help, and he's like, and Koichi's looking around like, oh, what the fuck? Who said that? Where you at? He's like, I'm right here, man. And he's like, and so Rohan is actually he's asking Koichi if he can help him out because he is actually looking for his childhood home. Nostalgia must have gotten the better of him because he says, like, revisiting someone's childhood is essential for a mangaka. But since those memories belong to a 4-year-old boy, those memories are a bit foggy. And he says, like, this is the street he used to call his home, and yeah, this is the street he used to call his home, and now he's trying to look for his house just, for nostalgia purposes, to relive his childhood a little bit, like, why the fuck not? And so he asks Koichi for some help, because he's been struggling to find this. And he says, okay, look at this map. We have the soba shop, the drugstore, and the supermarket, right? Now look at the way how they're actually laid out in the village. The soba shop, the drugstore, and then there's a street, which is not on the map, and then there's a supermarket on the far left. They're like, there's no mention of this road on the map. And he's like, Koichi, you mind accompanying me? And he's like, well, I would love to. He's like, is that your response when I asked you so politely? Fine then. I didn't know walking a few meters was going to be such a burden. Like, the man starts guilt-tripping him. And I love Koichi says, he's really self-centered. I only can spare 5 minutes. And he makes his way over to Rohan. So, Rohan is definitely self-serve, but I can't get enough of this guy. I love Rohan. This dude's like, if I had to rank my top 3 JoJo characters of all time, I would put Jotaro, Koichi, and then I put Rohan number 3. I like him more than Joseph. I like him more than Kakyo and Polnareff. All those guys. I love Rohan. This man is so good. I love him. I can't get enough of Rohan. Anyway, so they come to the street. They go through it a little bit, looking around. They're like, Jesus. And Rohan's looking at his map. They're like, this is my super detailed map about Mario. This map is useless. It doesn't mention it. It mentions a bunch of names, residents. I don't remember what they were off the top of my head, but it was like Owen Mori and a few other places. And it's like, there's not much of these residents here. This map is useless. The library is going to help me more than 2 or 3 gift certificates. Because as Koichi said, because of how many errors, because you found the street that wasn't on the map, you could get a gift certificate at the bookstore. I don't know what that means. Does he get a gift card? Does he get a free book? Does he get his name engraved on some plaque? What is this gift certificate that entails? Anyway. And so, after they're looking around, we also see some dog shit. They start looking around, then we see a little bit of some dog shit. Someone stepped in that dog shit. Lord have mercy on them. And they're just kind of looking around, just trying to explore their place, just trying to explore, seeing where the hell they're going or what all, and trying to figure out how the hell to get out of here. And so they walk, but then they come back to where they just left, and they're like, no. And Rohan, which actually I looked it up on who the English voice actor for Rohan is, and it's this, I forget his full name, but it's a dude that voices Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. And I was like, no wonder I love this man so much. Ed voices him. And Edward Elric is my favorite anime character of all time. I love Ed. So, having seen that they're both share the same voice actors, I'm like, perfection. I love that. Anyway, so they wait. And so Ro's like, wait, we went in the same direction. What the hell is going on? And he does like, Koichi, keep up your guard. There could be an enemy standing nearby. Use reverb to go up there to see what the hell is going on. So reverb goes up, but then immediately comes down. He's like, he felt something. He's like, what did you see? I see nothing. And then this girl comes up, this girl with pink hair shows up, and she's like, hey, and she's like, oh, hey, are you guys lost? I'll be your guide. She's like, she must have enemy standing near heaven's door, and he throws his arms in a variety of different directions. Actually, his Stan is actually his manga character he created for his manga series. Thought that was a nice little touch. And so he moves his arms in 15 different directions as he says heaven's door. I cannot make out the directions. It's just it's all over the place. So the Stan charges at her, touches her head, and bam, she falls. Where she also unlocks, her pages come out. It's like, alright, let me write this down there. Good, she will not hurt us anymore. And so then she checks her pages just to see who she is. And she's like, oh shit. He is just a normal girl, not an enemy. She's like, what? Her name is... He's like, her name is Reimi Sakamoto. She is age 16 and lives and I forget the exact address, but that's not too far from here. Her measurement, and then she says her measurements. It was 58, 52, and 65. I think they were. What are those measurements for? Are those for her height, ass, and tits? Is that her height, arms, and legs width? What are these measurements? What are they for? Someone please tell me down in the comment section below. And then he says, and then she's like, okay, she has a mole on her left nipple, and her first period was when she was 11 in September. And at this point, I'm like, okay, did I need to know that information? And then we slowly zoom into Rohan's eyes. He reads the last one, and oh my god, this one just had me laughing. We see his eyes are suddenly turning colors. And so right after that, he then, as we're also zooming in on his eyes, we're also zooming in. He says this, and when she first kissed her, he also said that she has no boyfriend. Earlier on, it was first getting the little info before he started really taking a deep dive into her. He says. And when she first kissed a boy, he stuck his tongue down her throat. And then at that point, I just started bursting out laughing at the fact that he said that with such a straight face. And then the image that popped in my head, I was like, thank you, Rohan, for putting that image in my head. I will never forget it. And Koichi, he starts blushing at this point, and he's like, "That's enough, Rohan. If she's not enemy stand using you, I refuse to let you keep digging into her past." It's like, all right. This man, Rohan, has the biggest smug smile on his face, like it is the smuggiest of smug. This man has the biggest shit-eating grin I have ever seen. I love. He's like, all right, I'll forget about this, and I write some other stuff in there. Writes in her pages, and then she's like, oh hey, and then she does the whole thing again where it's like, hey, are you guys lost? I'll be your guide. He's like, all right, fine. And so she's like, okay, can you tell us how to get out of here? She's like, no, a simple explanation ain't gonna cut it. I am your guide after all. And they're like, whatever. So she pulls out a box of Pocky. She takes one out, and she's like, you guys want anything? And they're like, nah. And she's like, okay, but you still have to hold on to the end of it. And so Rohan just like, fucking whatever. Holds on to it. She breaks it. And says, uh-oh, you're gonna get dumped soon. And she's like, really? Where is your evidence? Proxy fortune telling, or Pocky fortune telling. You are. And she says that she's very self-centered, and that he often likes to push people's buttons, and that's why he's gonna get dumped. Which is very true. That's very much like Rohan. I mean, just like what happened with Josuke. A couple of weeks back when we got his episode, and the fact he's very successful. We saw that earlier on in the episode. And so Rohan repays the favor by doing some psychological profiling, some psychological digging, where he says, you wear light pink nail polish, which means you're afraid of love. You often let it slip through your fingers. So, how did you know that? Psychological profile. I prefer to do that over Pocky fortune telling. Oof. And so, to get some little revenge, she tells him this horror story of a family that was murdered inside one of these houses. And so our story begins as you look into this main house that's right at the end of the street. At this house, at the wee hours of the night or the morning, a girl was woken up from her deep slumber by this dripping noise coming from her parents' room. She's like, what the hell is going on? Mommy, Daddy, the fuck is going on? What is the sound? Later on, after a few minutes, she puts her hand down by their bed. Her trusted companion dog, Arnold, would always be sitting down there, giving her a lick and a whimper as a nice source of reassurance, because this dog was a guard dog. But after a while, curiosity got the best of her. She got out of her bed and opened the door. And when she opened this door, she saw her dog hanging with its throat slit, gushing blood, hanging from the coat hangers like a coat. And she is horrified. From here, some creature comes from underneath her bed and says, you smell nice. I already killed your mommy and daddy. And then he kills her! Koichi and yo... Oh, I should do that more often. I should do horror storytime videos. Because I was having a lot of fun doing that. Anyway, so Rohan and Rohan, Koichi are scared shitless. Koichi's like, please tell me that was your idea of a joke. And she's like, yep. That was for the nail polish jag or jag, whatever. And then Rohan, I was like, what was his name? Rohan, as he hears this dripping noise, he looks behind him, and then there's the dog Arnold, throat slit, gushing blood. I swear to God, Araki can't go 5 episodes without some dog getting killed. It like now, I was like, at this point, I was like, okay, what is Araki's beef with animals? So I googled it, and I found my way to a Reddit post, where someone asked, okay, what is Araki's beef with animals? Why does he always kill dogs? And they said the same thing I was. Did he have some traumatic experience when he was a kid? And apparently, Araki actually loves dogs. He just does this as a way to make you hate the villains. So it's the same way why Ricky Kawahara always puts rape to make you hate the villains easily. Now, if you ask me which do I prefer, having rape or dogs getting slaughtered, I'll take the dogs getting slaughtered over rape any day of the week for obvious reasons. Anyway, and then we realized the girl that was, that ended up getting killed, that ended up getting slaughtered by this killer, was indeed Remy. She was there, and she's indeed a ghost! Yes, JoJo now deals with the supernatural now, with ghosts. And I won't lie, Remy is probably the most attractive female character we've gotten in all of JoJo. Like, we haven't, in JoJo, we've only gotten a few female characters, but none of them, I would say, really, I guess you could say, were my cup of tea. I was about to say tickle my fancy, but that would probably be that. You guys would take that way dirtier than actually meant. So, none of them were like, I'm not really a fan. Like, Lisa I liked, she was cool, but in terms of just attractiveness, she wasn't on there. But with the new redesigns Araki's been giving to all his characters with Part 4, Remy, I like her. She's attractive, and I like it. And actually in the manga, apparently she actually has brown hair in the manga, but in the anime, David Productions changed it to pink, and I also think she looks better with the pink hair. I think it suits her a lot better, matches her dress, and I think it just overall looks better with the pink hair rather than the brown hair. And from there, she talks about that she wants to give out this message because the serial killer that killed her that she tried to run and try to make a way for her, but she ended up getting killed. But you could never see the killer's face. But the serial killer that killed her is still on the run and is still killing people. To this day, he's still living in Morio and he's still doing his thing. Now, I'm sure we can all assume that the dude that probably killed her was indeed Kira. I'm sure we can all assume that, especially based off the little tease we got of him at the end of the episode. So I'm assuming it's gonna be. So I'm assuming it's Kira, which actually, funny story is actually this isn't really a funny story, but before when I would get my screenshots for my anime episodes of JoJo Part 3. For Star Wars Crusaders, I would go on Crunchyroll on my iPad and take the screenshots. I'll pause the episode at certain points. Then take screenshots I would need for the episode review for my thumbnail. And when I was over there, and this was before Part 5 started airing, in the fight they would Crunchyroll, when you will click on the iPad app, when you click on an anime, they usually show on the top of it is like the last anime episode that's aired, and they have like a thumbnail of it, and it actually had Kira with this different hair he has now, and he's actually talking with Remy. Or he's with Remy. And I was like, okay, who the hell is this girl? But now I know. I'm like, oh. So I'm curious what that last episode's going to be when we have the altercation between Remy and Kira. That's going to be interesting to see when we get there. Anyway, so she goes on about how she wants people that she still feels the spirits of them. It's as clear as the night. She sees the spirits kind of go into the afterlife. She sees them and she wants them to, and she wants Koichi and Rohan to listen to her story and hopefully find, and whether or not it's them or someone else, to listen to her story and be up to the task to take down Kira, to take down the serial killer, to bring back Morio to his peaceful, because she's lived here all her life, and once he gets caught, Morio's probably going to have a bad name after that, where it's going to be nothing but where it's going to be known for a monster, which is Kira. So, and Rohan's like, whoa, why are we the ones that are responsible for this? She's like, relax, I don't want you guys to do just yet, just whether you think it's police, whoever you think is worthy of this or ready, or that's up to the task, tell them so I can tell them to ask them to help me. And then she takes down like the top part, then she takes down the top parts of her dress to show us her back, because she has a large, because that's where she got stabbed. Well, that was where her wound is, and she like takes it down, and then JoJo becomes Shakespeare all of a sudden. She's like, this is the wound because his wounds are the same as mine, and Koichi and Rohan looking off so hard, they're like, oh, my God, that gash is so deep, Koichi says, but they never show it. Now, at first, when I first saw the episode, I was like, why the hell doesn't Araki show it? You have shown us dogs getting decapitated, getting burned alive. You have shown us dogs getting their heads impaled on spikes. You've had their heads explode, things coming out of their heads. We have had, Angelo cut off a dog's head, or bite off a dog's head, spit the blood of it and spit it out, then spit the blood of that dog into its owner. But some gash, like some knife wounds. Oh God, that's too far. And so I ended up doing some digging to know if the manga showed up what the wound looked like, or perhaps maybe it showed up later. Because I'm like, come on, this wound can't be that bad. So I looked it up. I looked up Remy Sakamoto wound, and then I looked up knife wound. one thing led to another, and I ended up giving up. And then later on, I tried again. I was like, you know what, let me... And after this was after I looked at the dog thing. I was like, you know, why doesn't Araki show Remy's wound? And so, which led me to this Reddit post, which led to that had a photo that was actually drawn by Araki of actually the wound she suffered from Kira. And, whoa! Holy mother of God! Yep, I can see why the anime didn't show it. Oh, because that wound... Oh, Lord. That wound is fucking deep. And now, I looked at this photo, and at first it didn't look like it was drawn by Araki, because it kind of has more of a, I guess, a Shida kind of art style to it, has a more of a Shida vibe to it. It's drawn more like a painting, and you can almost tell the rage that's in that painting, or the drawing, which I thought was nice. But apparently it was indeed drawn by Araki, I'm assuming while he was doing part 4, and you can tell he put a lot more effort into this than he did in his usual manga chapter, with just how much extra detail in there, and just the overall colors that were used here. Now, if any of you guys want to see this photo for whatever reason, I won't spoil it just in case the anime may show it off later. I'm not sure if the anime is going to show us the wound later, but just for in case. So I'm not going to see what it looks like, but if you guys want to see it, I'll leave a link to the image down in the description box below if you guys want to check out the wound and just see what it looks like. Because man, it's fucking like that wound when Koichi said the wound, that gas was deep. Oh my God, is it fucking deep? Oh my God, oof. Yes, I don't even think Adult Swim could even show that without censoring it a little bit. Yeesh. Oof. Ooh, Lord. Araki, Lord. So, yeah, and then they're like, okay, where the hell's the exit? Can you show us where the exit is? So she's like, okay, I'll show you where the exit is. So they said, go to the left from the mailbox and you'll be good. And right before they make a run for it, well, actually, right when they tell them that, right after it's revealed that actually, that Remy and Arnold are ghosts, Rohan grabs Koichi by the arm and starts running for the hills, and Koichi's here off the ground. He's pretty much just gliding at this point while Rohan is just running around. Koichi's just kind of flying around. I thought that was hilarious how Koichi was just kind of just flying at that point. But so there's so back to where I was. So right before Koichi and Rohan go out there to go to the exit to get out of because they're pretty much stuck in purgatory at this point. They're in between the world of the dead and the world of the living, and so this is how they can get out. So they go past the mailbox, but they can never turn back. They can never look back. And they're like, and Rohan's like, why not? That's just the rule. Even Arnold can figure that out. And it's like, okay. But I was like, there's no way in hell it's that easy, right? No way in hell it's that easy, which, of course, it is. So they get past the mailbox. Koichi's like, Rohan Sensei, you did feel something going through our legs, right? And there's ominous presence behind us. Yes, I'm aware. And then we see these spirits, kind of like these dark spirits, like sneaking up behind them, and they're breathing down Koichi's neck. First of all, how rude of these spirits to breathe down Koichi's neck, trying to get him to turn back. And they're like, no, keep eyes forward, while Remy and everyone is still keeping Koichi, like, then there's this then they start, like, dripping on it, there's this liquid on his hair, and it's dripping down there. I'm like, can y'all spirits be any more of a dick? Can you spirits be any more dicks? Like, and also, the reason why they can't turn back is because if they do, their parents gonna die. The spirits are gonna take over their bodies, and they're gonna die. And so, right when they can finally start seeing this glowing, this light at the end of the tunnel, literally, or at the end of the alleyway, they make their way. Koichi's just like, fuck this, I can't take this anymore, I'm just gonna make a run for it. And then she's like, no, stop, they're gonna trick you if you do that. And so then right when Koichi's about at the exit, we hear Remy's voice. She says, you made it, you can turn back now. And then she's like, oh, thank God, I've never been so scared in my life. And then Remy's like, no, that wasn't me. And then he opens his eyes, and the spirit starts to come after him. And as he grabs Reavers from Koichi's head, and then he's like, you're lucked out, Koichi. Heaven's door! And he takes away Koichi's ability to sight, blinding him so that the spirits can't take him. So they take him out there. Koichi's flailing his arms all over the place. He's like, and they're like, alright, wait a second, I'll give you back your ability to see. They give him back his ability to see, and, Koichi's fine. Then Remy's there, she's like, hey, this is as far as I can go. And the alleyway that, that alleyways that was there is now closed, and the supermarket is right where it should be. Now, judging from the fact that the alleyway was there, and now it is gone, and kind of the way you can see how it's located on the street, you can kind of see that there was. My theory is that right after this murder happened, and I'm assuming this whole neighborhood probably was victims of Kira. Were victims of Kira. They probably blocked that area off because all of the houses were abandoned at this point, and they probably just let the bat taste it. So they probably covered up the alleyway with the supermarket and the drugstore, and so that whole place, that whole street, that whole alleyway, streets over there were inaccessible. I think that's the reason why there was an alleyway there, but now it's gone. And she's like, hey, goodbye. Come back if you guys ever want to chat. And then she says, Little Rohan and Mr. Koichi. The little Rohan thing's gonna come back later. So Rohan ends up, and she's like, how dare she call me Little Rohan? Although I like, and also when after Remy tells Rohan the whole story that's going on with her and taking down Kira and everything, Rohan's like, no, this ain't my responsibility. I ain't dealing with this. Although, and then he starts like, this would make for some very interesting manga, a murder mystery. Yeah, so I'm like, bro, really? You're thinking of inspiration, how this would make a great manga? This would make great manga? I mean, I won't lie, I love a good murder mystery. I mean, one of my favorite movies this year was Searching, which is a whole murder mystery. Highly recommend you guys check that movie out if you haven't already. Searching, it's a really damn good movie. So, but Rohan's like, he's like, this would make great manga. And so anyway, right after that, Rohan visits the Sakamoto family, where then this elderly man comes in there, and that is when the bombshell is dropped and we learn a little bit of Rohan's backstory. And so he reads off the gravestone, which confirms Remy's story, which he was like, I never doubted her, but I just wanted some confirmation, some evidence to back it up. Then this elderly man shows us like, are you Rohan Kishibe, the manga artist? And he's like, I'm sorry, have we met? Yes, and then he does he starts praying, prays rise at the grave, and then he's like, you were 4 around the time, right? Your parents actually didn't live too far from the Sakamoto family, and because they were good friends, your parents were on some urgent business, so they were like, so because of that, you spent time over there at the Sugimoto family while your parents dealt with their business. And we find out that Rohan was there the night of the murder when Kira went there and wiped out their whole family. I'm only saying it's Kira just because he's the main villain of Part 4, and the fact, and that we know there's a mass murder on this. I'm just all signs really just pointing to this isn't because I've watched this here, because I haven't watched any of Part 4 beforehand. This is me just guessing, but I'm assuming that is indeed Kira, and also from the little and from the fact that his name is Kira, I mean, that is Japanese for killer. And the fact that we see after that little tease we got, all signs point to Kira, that Kira was the one that pulled this. So anyway, and he was there during that night, but he managed to escape. He managed to get out of there just in the nick of time, right before Kira could kill him. And right when he was in police custody, Rohan says this sentence over and over: "Big sis Remy saved me. Big sis Remy saved me." Yes, Remy saved our boy Rohan. She risked her life to make sure that Rohan could escape before the killer couldn't get his hands on her. Man, and I was like, yo, bro, come on, Rocky, why are you doing this to me, man? Pull up my heartstrings a little bit. I was also shocked as well at that revelation. And then it hits Rohan like a ton. It's like, I see. No wonder she acted so familiar. And I'm assuming because of this, and we also learned that Heaven's Door can't reveal Rohan's distant memories, nor can it reveal his fate. Now, judging from this fact that about Remy and Rohan's connection, and the fact that Remy saved Rohan from the wrath of Kira, I'm assuming Rohan's going to join Jotaro, Josuke, and the crew to help stop Kira. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Anyway, and so we get to Koichi. He's talking to Josuke and Okuyasu about this whole stuff with Remy, and he's telling like, I don't, you believe me, right? And then he's like going on about Remy, and Josuke's like, relax, man, we believe you. And then we got Okuyasu over there gawking at her picture, like, oh my god, she's such a cutie. If I was born 15 years ago, woo! And then he's like, and so he's like, we need to stop it when you do this, and then. Josuke tells like, look, man, if we're gonna tell Jotaro and Joseph this, they're gonna ask you one question: is he a stand user? Is he using a stand to his victims? Because if they're not, Jotaro and the others ain't gonna give two flying fucks about the guy. They're gonna like leave this to the police and whatever. And Koichi's like, no, we have to do something about this. And he's like, relax, man. If he's escaped this, relax, man. It ain't our business. We can't summon him just by like a taxi, just by force of will alone. And I was like. Oh, you're not even trying to be subtle, are you, David Productions? Because right then, Koichi crosses the street. This car comes by. Josuke knows in time, gets Koichi and throws him back to make sure he doesn't get run over. And then we look who's inside the car. It's Kira. And I was like, oh yes. Now, first of all, I gotta say, I love his English voice actor. I don't know who voiced him in the Japanese, but oh my god. Oh, Viz, you got the perfect... Whoever you got to voice Kira was perfect casting his voice. His voice just suits Kira so much. Like, I know nothing about Kira, but I hear his voice, I'm like, yes, that is perfection right there. That is perfection. So anyway, so right after that, we see him, he's driving, he's talking to this girl right next to him. We see her hand on top of Kira's while he has his hand on the thing where it turns the car, the driver, or whatever the thing is called, I forget what the thing's called, the thing that makes your car go into reverse drive, all that stuff. And she's like, oh, hey, where's the expensive watch I got you? Alright, you put it in your bag. How could I forget? If I remember correctly, it felt loose, fit loosely on you. We'll get that fixed. And he also says that apparently Morio was a place where the samurai was like a summer getaway for samurais. Nice little fun fact there. So we get to Kira's place, and he's like, and so he opens the door, like a gentleman for the woman. She's like, oh, what's wrong? Why are you acting all coy? Almost said. Pulls out her hand. He's like, it's like knowing you, and then we see that there is no woman. It's just her arm, and blood jumps out from her arm. A bit of blood comes off from underneath, comes from where the cut happened of her arm, and it's like, man, you made a mess. Not very becoming of a lady. And puts this little tissue or whatever inside her hand, and he makes the hand wipe off the blood, and you can hear the bones cracking. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna love this guy. Oh god, I'm also gonna, oh god, Kira, I'm not ready for this. I am not ready for this, man. I am not ready. And she's like, there. And it's like, I don't remember your name, but does it really matter at this point? Well, you should be proud of you, and now it's all clean. You should be proud of yourself. And so he gets it, so he still gets the hand, has his hand, grab the purse. He's like, now, let's make some dinner. What are the best dishes in your repertoire? And that's the episode ends, where we look at where right at the wall of the house, it shows up who owns it. It says Kira. And when they have the whole, to be continued thing, on Kira, it has this red filter on top of it, and all throughout the wall, you see blood spatters all over it. Nice little touch there, David Productions. So, that is the end of this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Diamond is Unbreakable. Fucking amazing episode. I loved this episode. It was so damn good. I'm so excited to we're finally getting to see Kira. You guys know how much I've been waiting for this day. You guys know how much I want to see Kira. I already love Kira, but man, am I not ready for him. And I can't wait to see what he has in store for us. So overall, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. So hope you all enjoyed the video. If you liked, if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like it. Links down in the description box below. As always, come back for more. See you guys next time.